On a faraway island, Nana Hiragi is enrolled into an isolated school disguised as a student. While she is an ordinary student compared to her superpowered classmates, she has an unordinary talent as an assassin. She has been tasked with a secret mission to save millions of lives by getting rid of humanity's greatest enemy. That enemy being superpowered individuals that have been discovered as children and sent to this island. The class contains students with different talents. One of them, Nanao Nakajima, recalls being gathered with the rest of the talents on the island. His thoughts are cut short by a fire-manipulating student named Moguo Ejima. He calls Nanao a normie and burns his comic book. Another student, Seiya Kori, comes to Nanao's rescue with his ice ability. The class begins, and their homeroom teacher, Tanin Kyushi, gives his speech on being brought to the island to undergo special training in order to fight the enemies of humanity, aka giant monsters. The kids already know that the speech means a new student is going to join them. Just then, Kyoya Onodera steps inside the class. He skips introducing his talent, which entails that it must be something powerful. As the teacher is about to introduce them, Nana barges in. She brightly introduces herself and tells the class that she has been gifted with the ability of mind reading. Mr. Kyushi seats her next to Nanao. Then, out of the blue, Nana asks Nanao if he gets bullied a lot. Apparently, she already figured that out with her ability. He's caught off guard and tries denying it, but then Moguo starts teasing Nanao for being an enemy of humanity, for being talentless. Nana acts clueless by picking up the pamphlet, showing the pictures of the monsters that obviously look different. She learns that Nanao has been making notes and researching on the enemies of humanity. Nana asks if he'd like to be friends with her, a little too loud for the teacher's liking. She apologizes right away and tells him that she knows he was going to appoint a class rep. The man really was going to do that and asks for a volunteer, to which the majority raise their hands. Nana suggests Nanao, but the guy hasn't even volunteered. She lists off his good traits, however, the class isn't impressed. The girl states that it's not like any of them has actually faced the enemies of humanity, with which Mr. Kyushi also agrees. Kyoya interrupts them by stating that Moguo, Seiya, and Nakajima should fight for the position and walks out calling them idiots. Nana wishes him all the best for the fight. However, he quietly tells her that he isn't going to take part. She keeps following him. When he tells her to cut it out, Nana asks if he could give her a tour of the place since she is new to it. He brings her to the cafeteria, which he explains is free, including their tuition, dorm water supply, utilities, and on top of all this they receive stipend as well, all covered by the government. While inside the cafeteria, he questions how she's handling her talent. The girl replies that she can hear people's thoughts, and if she really concentrates, she gets to hear their inner thoughts. Nana recalls the overwhelming feeling during her commute back home when all the people on the train sound like they were having a one-sided call in their heads. She ultimately wasn't able to make any friends because of her talent. As per Nana's request, they go to the seaside. She tells him that if he really didn't have any talent, then they wouldn't have brought him to the island. Nanao agrees, but dismisses his talent as nothing worth noting. She asks why he doesn't reveal it to the class, to which he relays that most of the talents aren't revealed because they are here to train in order to fight the enemies of humanity, and it is rumoured that the enemy has already slipped through the cracks. It's best if the talents remain hidden. While they are conversing, something seems to come right at them, and it hits Nana like a strong gust of wind, pushing her towards the sea below. Meanwhile, Kyoya is going through the student files, claiming to be investigating. On the other hand, Nanao catches Nana before she falls. Later, when they reach the boys' dorm, Nana won't stop pestering him about becoming the class rep. She goes on about how he knows in his heart that he can hone his talent on this island, become their leader, and that he looks up to his father. Irritated, he tells her to stop reading his mind because he feels violated. He only came to this island for his father's approval. She reminds him that he did save her back at that cliff, hopefully because he wanted to and not for his father's sake. Nanao storms inside, angrily telling her to go away. The next day, Seiya and Moguo get ready to fight. Mr. Kyushi has a rule for them. They will only use fists and no talents. The students start the brawl with a few fists, but end up using their talents. Just when it looks like Seiya has won by freezing Moguo's foot, the latter attacks with a fireball, and in the heat of the moment doesn't realize how enormous it has become. It is already out of control. Nanao jumps into action. He stands in front of her, facing the fireball head-on. However, the blazing heat disappears within seconds. Nanao awkwardly shares that his power is nothing much, just that he can neutralize others' attacks. This leaves everyone amazed. He becomes the class rep, or their leader as he likes to call it. Nanao then thanks Nana for making him face himself and acknowledges the newcomer as his friend. She inquires if his ability only extends to touch. He confirms, adding that it's not on the psych level like hers. They hold each other's hands. He nullifies her mind reading, and for the first time ever she cannot hear his thoughts, which he realizes is probably like a break for her. But then, out of nowhere, the girl pushes him off the cliff. He grabs onto the dangling safety rope. Her voice and demeanor take a 180-degree turn. She answers his confusion by wickedly stating that he's probably thinking why she has to kill him. She then proceeds with listing off all her observations of him, which helped in making him think that she was an actual mind reader. He fearfully asks if she is the enemy of humanity. Nana corrects him, saying that they are the true enemies of humanity, particularly him, because he was about to be the leader. Then his hands start to slip and he ends up falling to his death. Nana takes out her phone. The screen shows a message stating that the points to kill Nanao are 1 million plus. Before Nana was sent to the island, she had received the message that those with talent have now become the enemies of humanity for causing numerous incidents. It was explained to her in detail that when the first ever enemy of humanity appeared, it destroyed a whole city and took innocent lives. This enemy was a human with supernatural ability and not some monster. Slowly, children with talent spread throughout the world. These kids were unfazed by the laws of the world, which lead to momentous incidents. In order to encounter them, the world had created a military of the talented, but that didn't last long, because they soon started using their position for their own personal interests. As years passed by, humanity started accepting the talented and kept them in so-called training academies, under the impression that they are being trained in order to fight against enemies of humanity. It is then disclosed to Nana that this is going to be a top-secret mission in which she will be sent to an island where one of the academies for the talented is located, and her job is to be an undercover student as she gets rid of them all. However, if she fails, there will be a high penalty. Moreover, the secret of this island must not be leaked because the talented may conspire against humanity and take over, bringing more death. She is brought back to reality when Moguro asks if she has seen Nanao because the guy is nowhere to be seen, even though he made such a big deal out of becoming a leader. His last moments flash through Nana's mind. They get interrupted by the rest of the students training for a waterfront battle. Yohei Shibusawa complains that he doesn't know how to swim. Seiya decides to freeze the pond, solid. Nana goes to inspect it. She guesses that the pond itself is about 5 meters deep, and the guy managed to freeze all of it, defying physics. He then flaunts his talent, saying the enemies of humanity wouldn't stand a chance in front of him. Nana thinks back to when she was told that these talents are too immature to handle such power. The world is in danger with them around. During lunch break, Nana decides to probe a little more into Seiya's talent. She asks if he can freeze anything. He confirms. She then questions if that's the case, then this means he can freeze people as well. Seiya shifts a little and confirms yet again, but she catches the lie right away. A few feet away, Moguro is still mad at Nanao becoming the leader and almost punches another student for talking about it, but gets punched to the ground instead. Shibusawa shakes his hand, clearly responsible for it. Seiya tells Nana that it is said he can stop time. Upon gaining this new piece of information, she finds Shibusawa at the cafe and puts on her cheerful face, telling him that she has heard he is the strongest around. Shibusawa corrects her that he gets bullied. Nana spots pickles in his tray and reaches to take one but knocks his cup in the process. However, it doesn't really spill because Shibusawa stops time. He then comes forward with the information that he can actually go back in time and change the timeline of events happening in the past. Nana puts on an impressed face. Kyoya appears behind her, asking Shibusawa if he can investigate Nanao's disappearance with his ability. Nana doesn't like where this is going and desperately tries to save herself by stating that the guy is probably down with fever, to which Kyoya replies that Nanao's room is next to his and didn't hear him return the previous night. The student then starts feeling her hair and accusingly tells her that she seemed to get along with Nanao. He knows they left together and inquires about the location. Nana sits frozen. He keeps stroking her hair as she stiffly tells him that she only congratulated Nanao on becoming a leader, ignoring his actual question. She awkwardly asks why he's touching her hair because she has a feeling that he is digging up info on her with whatever talent he possesses. But then he answers that he's doing it out of habit because his sister has pigtails. Nana tries to change the narrative by putting forward the theory that maybe Nanao is an enemy of humanity. Shibusawa jumps on the conspiracy bandwagon right away. Nana takes the lead to make her narrative sound even more believable as she jumps away from Kyoya, acting all scared, claiming that she just heard some unfamiliar inner voice of his. The latter stands unimpressed while Shibusawa instantly falls for the trick. Kyoya plainly tells them that he only wants to know what has happened to Nanao after all that hype about becoming a leader. Shibusawa questions why the guy is suddenly so interested in Nanao when he stood on the sideline the whole time. Kyoya ends up walking away. Shibusawa decides to help Nana look for Nanao. They both go to the dormitory. Shibusawa uses his talent to figure out the truth. Out of breath, he relays that Kyoya was right about Nanao not returning to the dorm. Nana starts digging up his limitations because if he can travel all the way back then, he can figure out what actually happened to Nanao. She asks if he has to think about the place before he time travels. He confirms. This only solidifies the fact that she can't get rid of him so easily because he could fight her and travel back in time to take revenge. Shibusawa stupidly reveals that he can only travel back one day at max, and if he goes past 12 hours, then he comes back vomiting. He gets up to go back in time because someone spotted him in the past. He returns stating that they were at the cliff. She quickly tells him that they went their separate ways afterwards. He keeps going back, but to no avail. Exhaustion is evident in the way he is panting hard on the ground. Shibusawa reveals that she spotted him the last time, which means that if someone from the past makes eye contact with him, he is brought back to present time. Nana still feels danger looming over her, so she tells him that they should start over the next day. But his limit is 24 hours, and he can't let any more time slip away. Shibusawa asks her the specific time they were at the cliff. When she stays silent, he finally starts to suspect that something is off, but she puts on a clueless face and states 6 p.m. He goes back in time but returns quickly. Nana had spotted him yet again when they were holding hands. She remembers seeing him and made sure that he was no more there before pushing Nanao to his death. However, Shibusawa naively believes that they are close friends, which no longer makes her the suspect, and calls it a day. Afterwards, Nana sets her plan in motion. She takes a shovel and knocks on Shibusawa's door. Next thing he knows, they are running through the forest. She makes up a tale about an enemy of humanity who had chased her and Nanao into the forest. But she didn't tell Shibusawa because it felt like she couldn't trust him. She remembers that the monster had eaten Nanao and starts crying, acting desperate, as she pleads for him to go back in time and save him. He feels stressed out and agrees to do his best, not knowing he just signed up for his own death. When he zaps back in time, the sky clears up, revealing the frozen pond. Nana already knows that it wasn't frozen the previous night, and Shibusawa can't swim. This can only mean that he has drowned when time traveling, and the next day, as in this morning, his body went unnoticed when the pond froze over him, no thanks to Seiya. It's raining, and Kyoya Onodera is at Nanao's murder site. He sees the broken piece of safe rope and effortlessly jumps off the cliff. The scene changes to the students arriving at school, all drenched by the rain. Moguo questions Nanao's absence once again, and this time adds that Shibusawa has also gone missing. No one seems too bothered by that, but Nana knows that she has to tread carefully before they realize that they have an assassin amongst them. Kyoya walks in soaking from rain with seaweed on top of his head. He happens to be Nana's next target. During lunch break, she cheerfully asks if she could join him, but he declines. She watches him closely as he goes inside a janitor's closet with a pack of milk. After he leaves, Nana inspects the place. He had heated up the milk for a cat. When she finds him again, he surprisingly invites her to his room because apparently he wants to be friends with her. The room is occupied with an array of bookshelves and is quite unorganized. Kyoya puts on a game for them to play. During the game, she asks if he has invited her for a chat. He relays that she's popular and he doesn't know how to make friends. Nana tells him that the key is to find similarities or talk about their weaknesses. Kyoya then states that he has a habit of obsessing over things that stirs up his interest. This makes Nana realize why he wants to investigate Nanao's disappearance. He agrees, but mainly because his sister came to the island before him, but she has gone off the radar and now Nanao is missing. But the school doesn't really care about it, even though the students are supposed to be some national treasures, and it's obvious that they aren't really getting trained. Afterwards, as she leaves his room, he pulls out the watch that belongs to Nanao, originally his father's, all broken from the impact. This completely catches her off guard. Kyoya takes her to the cliff and sits on the edge staring down. She asks what he's up to, but only gets questioned about her whereabouts on the evening of the 13th, because Nanao went missing on the 14th. Nana states that she was with Nanao, of course. Kyoya tells her that he went down to the rocks to check when he came across Nanao's broken watch. The time shows 6:10, and if it's supposed to be 6:10 p.m, then she might know something. Nana denies, adding that they parted ways and he most likely didn't off himself because of the way he so heroically saved the students from Moguo's flame that day. Kyoya presumes that he threw away his watch as he was getting pushed off the cliff. He thinks that maybe an enemy of humanity is responsible for it. But then again, according to the books, they have fangs, so why would it need to push him unless it had to hide evidence? Nana awkwardly tells him that those creatures are known for their intelligence. The only thought that crosses her mind is the fact that Kyoya is 100 times more dangerous. He proceeds to say that he is thinking of letting the officials know about Nanao, but Nana quickly tells him that this will only create a state of panic, to which he agrees. She then asks about his talent. Kyoya dismisses it, saying it's nothing special, and besides she could just read his mind to figure it out, and he only wanted to tell her all this to inform her about the monster lurking on the island. The next day, Nana and Kiyoya inform Mr. Kyushi about Nanao. The man starts freaking out. He shakily decides to contact the higher-ups. Outside in the school corridor, Nana puts her plan of unveiling Kiyoya's talent into action. She makes up a story of Nanao having a cat and wonders about its well-being after Nanao's disappearance. She then runs off to the bathroom. Kiyoya dismisses her behavior, thinking that she is just a little out of it. Kiyoya goes inside the janitor's closet, but there's no cat in sight. Meanwhile, Nana watches him in secrecy. She had deduced from the sight of the loads of trash and the expiration date on the tomato that something was off with Kiyoya's senses. When he walks inside, he only notices the window being closed shut, and as soon as he turns the stove on, the whole room explodes. He had walked right into her trap because otherwise he would have smelled the saturated gas inside the room. Nana stands for a few seconds and then runs towards the scene, acting all surprised and worried. She had thought that he would escape with some sort of physical talent, but there he was lying on the ground. Kiyoya grabs her by the leg as soon as she turns around to get some water for him. He inquires why she had to be the one to arrive at the scene first. Nana notices that his wounds start healing. Kiyoya continues that he could say she came running because she could read his mind, or she brought up the cat by pure luck, and not that she had known that he feeds one. But then again, why does she look so freaked out? He stands up, completely healed, and questions how Nana did not know that he is invincible even when she can read his mind. The girl is frozen while he informs her that he was born without the sense of smell and isn't related to his talent. The next day, Mogwo accusingly asks Kiyoya if he was responsible for setting the supply room on fire. He denies, saying he was attacked. Mogwo doesn't believe him, so Kiyoya questions how they would explain Nanao's absence. This makes Seiya remember that Shibusawa is missing as well. Kiyoya proposes the idea of an enemy of humanity being responsible, but Mogwo thinks that he is only spewing some conspiracy. Nana knows that since Kiyoya survived her attack, he is aware that he just escaped an attempted murder and won't stop mentioning it until people actually listen. Nana doesn't have long before the other two murders get unveiled. Right now, Kiyoya is quite a massive obstacle and she has to mislead him from suspecting her before she can take another life. The scene gets disrupted by Kirara Habu and Kaori Takanashi as they tease Michiru Inukai for having a love letter in her locker. They teasingly read it aloud, in which the admirer has mentioned that they want to meet Michiru after school. The said girl spots a scrape on Nana's leg and immediately starts licking it. Nana is weirded out, but her skin gets healed in seconds. Turns out Michiru has the talent to heal, but has to lick the area for it to work. But the downside is that, with every use, her lifespan shortens. Nana checks her kill point being 150,000. Meanwhile, Michiru is waiting for her supposed admirer when Nana pops out and points to the girls hiding in the bushes. She explains to Michiru that they were just messing around with her. The innocent girl starts to cry because she had considered them her friends. Nana invites her to the cafeteria for lunch. Kiyoya is keeping an eye out. Later that night, Nana makes up her mind to take Michiru's life, but she has to aim at her back so that the girl's tongue won't be able to reach it. As soon as she opens the door, Kiyoya is sitting outside with the excuse that he's watching out for her, but they both know the real reason. He is suspicious of her. Nana goes back inside, puts on loud music, and escapes from the bedroom window. She barges into Michiru's room, screaming that the enemy of humanity is right behind her. Nana gets her gimlet ready. Kiyoya runs towards the room because he has noticed the pattern of chaos that follows Nana. She had been around Michiru the same way she was with Nanao, but Kiyoya can't pinpoint what her motive is. When he opens Michiru's door, he is met with quite an unexpected sight. Instead of Michiru, Nana is on the floor with a wound on her back. The blonde girl tries to help by licking the wound. Kiyoya questions what had occurred. Nana has prepared a whole story. She starts off by saying that while in her room, she had heard the enemy's inner voice intending to take Michiru's life. Nana had made it to Michiru's room just in time to shield her from the enemy's attack. The girl also adds that they don't know where it is since it was an invisible type. Nana seems convincing enough because Kiyoya starts second-guessing. She had cleverly made herself a victim of an attempted murder to cover up her own tracks. And now, after her so-called heroic act of saving her classmate, she is certain that they will appoint her their leader. The next day, Kiyoya asks the girls about the attack yet again. His interrogation gets interrupted by Seiya and Mogwo, who have heard the news of Nana getting attacked and start quarreling over who the rightful leader should be. But then, Nana blurts out a confession that Nanao has been murdered by the enemy. She starts crying crocodile tears, adding that even though she could hear the enemy's thoughts, she still wasn't able to save him. Her acting pays off because the innocent little Michiru suggests that because Nana saved her life, they should appoint her as their leader. The guys swiftly agree to it without any arguments. Nana steps out of her chair, accepting the role with open arms, promising to work together against the enemy of humanity. After school, she hands Michiru a notebook to ask around about everyone's talents and personalities in case they might need them later. Michiru accepts the task and skips away. Kyoya apologizes for doubting her, though he still has suspicion lingering in his tone. He states that whatever she was attacked with was sharp. Maybe it was a harpoon or a screwdriver or even a gimlet. Nana tries to recover from the accuracy of the last object, stating that she just assumed it was the enemy's claw. She thinks about switching her method of assassinating people with a gimlet, because they might question the enemy's ability for resorting to human tools. She opts for a poisonous potion. Meanwhile, Kyoya is in his room as he cracks down Nana's plan right to a T, but still doubts himself because there is no evidence. On the other hand, Nana has prepared the poison and has reached the boys' dormitory. She is confident that as long as nobody sees the murders taking place, her classmates will not doubt her as their leader. However, someone sneaks up on her before she can reach Kyoya. Nana recognizes that he's Tsunakichi Hatadera. He tells her that he can see the future, which catches her completely off guard, and proceeds to hold a picture in front of her which shows that Nana is about to murder him with a jump rope. She closely examines it. The place looks like it's the PE supply shed and the time is 10 o'clock. He asks for an explanation, but she obviously doesn't have any and starts stammering. Tsunakichi drags her to the cafeteria ordering some food. She asks about the photo. He explains that he once tried to change his future by studying hard because he had a premonition he got a 0 on it, but inevitably that is exactly what happened. He then pulls out another photo where the food has landed on her face. As the order arrives, the server slips and the bowl falls on her exactly like in the picture. Once his point is proven, he questions why she wants him dead. Nana tries to sound persuasive enough that it's probably a mistake, but then the guy drops the ultimate truth bomb on her by showing her a photo of her pushing Nanao off the cliff. Tsunakichi places an array of photographs in front of her with the information that he had snapped these the day she had transferred. It suddenly clicks why he hadn't exposed her yet. Nana realizes that he probably wants something in return. She puts on an innocent act, playing right into his game, that she wants to set her record straight and is willing to do anything. Tsunakichi wants to use the pictures as blackmail. He goes on to say that no enemy of humanity has appeared in his vision so far, which means Nana is the enemy. Oh, how Kyoya would love to hear this. Nana thinks about getting rid of him, and then the photos. She asks what it would take to make him believe that she isn't the enemy of humanity, to which Tsunakichi cunningly tells her that he doesn't have a girlfriend, which according to him means a back massage in his room. She has an urge to get rid of him at that very moment, but she is slightly concerned about fate getting in the way, and besides, the walls of the dormitory are too thin for any sort of fuss. Tsunakichi starts feeling sleepy, and Nana takes it as her cue to leave, but he forces her to stay in his room, blackmailing her with the photos. He soon dozes off and the pictures start printing. It seems that he doesn't have any control over what he sees. She takes a look at them. A particular one almost makes her scream. Nana quickly hides it away. She clicks a few pictures, but it turns out to be quite a normal functioning camera, and the magic lies in Tsunakichi's talent. The next morning, as she starts tidying his room, Tsunakichi creeps up on her, saying that he gets 5 premonitions, which is like a limitation of his talent, and one is missing. He sneaks his hand into her uniform, pulling out the photo. In the picture, she has her eyes wide, the jump rope wrapped around her neck, and her uniform unbuttoned. Nana tells him that she was hiding it because she didn't want the misunderstanding to grow any further. She wouldn't want to take his life, knowing that she could end up dead. He doesn't care about logic because for him, what is fated will eventually happen. Nana wants them both to team up against fate to change the course of events. He makes a deal, stating that they will go to the shed at night, and if nothing takes place at 10, then he will trust her. He walks out to take a shower. Nana spots his watch and sets it 10 minutes behind. Just as he comes back, telling her that he'll justify murdering her as self-defense, she excuses herself to freshen up. Later on, she is in that shed and opens her phone. The message states that his kill count is 500,000 plus. Just as she's putting her phone back, her case of poisonous needles falls from her pocket. Tsunakichi enters at the same time. The jump rope is right next to her. She has set his watch 10 minutes behind, which means he won't suspect an attack. She swiftly wraps the rope around his neck, just like in the picture. He questions why she's doing it already and then quickly removes the object from around his neck and pushes her to the ground. He's on top of her when he tells her that he had already noticed the change in time and the murder will take place when it strikes 10. Tsunakichi then states that now that she has tried to change things up, this means she definitely had the intention of murdering him. He unbuttons her uniform just like in the photo, but Nana stops his hand before he can do anything. When she pushes him off herself, Tsunekichi suddenly feels weak. Nana explains that she had pricked him with her poison needle the moment he pushed her down. Tsunekichi lies on the floor confused because according to the picture which Nana was hiding, she was supposed to die. The assassin explains that she had to lure him into a secluded space, and since he is such a firm believer in fate, he wouldn't take the risk unless he knew he was going to come out victorious. Which is why she clicked that picture of herself with his camera the previous night. Nana then shows him the actual 5th photo. Just then the light turns on and the angle turns towards the picture. It shows Nana hiding the photo, while Tsunekichi lies on the ground, and Kyoya stands next to Michiru in the doorway exactly like their current positions. Michiru stutters that she wanted to return the book with the talents jotted down but couldn't find her anywhere, and asked Kyoya's help in looking for her. Nana suddenly screams for Michiru to save Tsunekichi and falls to the ground, burying her face in her hands. Now she has to act her way out of this mess. Michiru's talent isn't able to revive him. Nana tells them that Tsunekichi had lured her with the premonition of him being attacked by the enemy of humanity, but ended up blackmailing her with future pictures of her in the bath, among others. Kyoya states that this means that he attacked her and she killed him in self-defense. Nana quickly claims that she is innocent, and since there are no visible wounds, Michiru naively mentions that he could have died from some illness. However, Nana puts the blame on the enemy of humanity, saying she could hear it nearby. Kyoya tells her that they are supposed to leave visible wounds, but then Michiru says that there is a kind mentioned in the textbook, which curses people. Nana gets up, thanking them for rescuing her. She leaves, but not before praying for his soul. Michiru is thoroughly impressed by her. She decides to stay behind, wanting to use her talent on Tsunekichi's body again. Nana hurriedly makes her way to his room, collecting the camera and the photos. Kyoya is right behind her, though a few seconds late. He starts searching the room for meds or pills which Tsunekichi might have taken because he wants to eliminate all other causes, before believing that the enemy of humanity is responsible for this death as well. Kyoya shows Nana her photo from the shed, reminding her about how the guy believed in fate, yet he ended up dead instead. She calmly tells him that maybe fate does change after all, something Kyoya actually agrees with as well. But then he totally throws her off with his accurate deduction. He tells her that the picture might not even have been taken by him. The main issue is with the double wrapping of the rope around her neck, because if the photo depicts murder, then the assailant will wrap it around only once, because twice will give the victim time to escape. He supposes that she could have killed him, but doesn't understand the reason. Nana goes back to her room. A photo is still left, but it wasn't in Tsunekichi's room, which means it's with the deceased. Meanwhile, Michiru is still making failed attempts to revive him when she notices something underneath his shirt. She pulls it out, and it's the photo of Nana throwing Nanao off the cliff. Right at the moment, Nana opens the door, sweetly asking what she has discovered. Michiru is looking at the photo. Nana decides that if the girl hides it, she will have to eliminate her immediately, but if she hands it over, then she'll spare her life. Michiru ends up holding it out to her, asking about it. Nana decides on the latter. She tells the student that he wasn't an honest person and claims that his abilities have been fluctuating ever since he came to the island because he wasn't working hard enough, and sometimes the photos would be about his dreams and wouldn't actually foresee the future. Michiru instantly believes her. They hold a funeral for Tsunekichi. Kyoya questions why Mr. Kyushi didn't alert the police since this was an unnatural death. The homeroom teacher sighs, telling him that the island doesn't have any police and they won't be jailed for murder. But if it's an actual emergency situation, then the military would intervene. Kyoya wants to unravel the truth. Nana takes him outside and questions why he won't believe that the guy was sick. Kyoya's mind can't register how Tsunekichi could assault her and then die of some heart attack. He still hasn't forgotten the supply room blowing up on him. Nana cleverly tricks him into believing that his suspicion of her is pointless because she already knew of his immortal talent the night on that cliff. This makes him doubt his intuition, because if she's a mind reader, then he definitely shouldn't have been attacked before Tsunekichi. Kyoya goes inside, still determined to unveil the reason for his classmate's death with an autopsy. As he is about to touch the lid, it gets lifted by Tsunekichi himself. Shocked gasps are heard through the room. Shinji Kazama walks towards them, stating why bother with an autopsy when they can just ask the dead. The kid has the talent of necromany. Nana just can't get a break. Shinji explains that his talent allows him to see from the dead's perspective. He can even draw out their memories and use their talent. Nana has to put on yet another performance to prevent him from doing any of that. In a pitiful voice, she informs them that they need to stop because she can hear Tsunekichi's soul suffering. The students are entirely creeped out. Kyoya finally relents and Shinji lets the body back into the casket. The next day, Nana asks about Shinji's whereabouts from his friend Yuka Sasaki. She tells Nana that he's probably in bed, and joining them at the funeral was just him showing off his talent to others. She spies on them in the woods at night. From the way they are sitting, it's obvious that they're a couple. Now she'll just have to murder them both. Kiyoya is right behind her. Looks like he isn't letting his guard down just yet. He tells her without hesitation that Shinji is obviously the next target, because the killer won't want some dead body to hold him accountable. The next day, Nana excuses herself from practice and sneaks into the boys' dorm. She pricks Shinji with the poison needle and runs back to school. Kiyoya is already looking for her. Nana makes the excuse of trying to help some random kitten stuck in a sewer. She asks Yuka to use her superhuman talent to lift up the grate, but the girl apologizes, saying she can't. Kiyoya ends up offering the cat some cat food to get her out. Yuka explains that she is allergic to animals and can't use her talent when she sneezes. While everyone sleeps at night, Nana sneaks into Yuka's room to poison her, but the moment the needle is about to prick her, someone smacks her on the head and throws her to the floor, sitting on top of her. Yuka tells her that Shinji saw everything for her. Nana had stupidly believed Yuka's super strength story, but now it makes sense that Yuka is the actual necromancer and Shinji has super strength, because Nana couldn't feel another person's presence in the room, which means that Shinji is actually dead. It's obvious from his ice-cold hands on her. Furthermore, Yuka had been the one who controlled the corpse on that funeral night, but she wanted people to see how amazing and in love Shinji was with her. Nana, an assassin herself, can't help but think that Yuka is crazy. Sure, she herself pretended to hear Tsunakichi's soul talking, but Yuka had also been playing her puppet game. The necromancer tells her that since Nana attempted to murder them, she will expose her to the whole class. The latter's eyes go wide. Yuka adds that she had noticed during the funeral Nana was nervous when Kiyoya wanted to carry out an autopsy. Yuka suspiciously asks if she was the one who took Tsunakichi's life, and since Nanao and Shibusawa are nowhere to be found, then maybe them as well. A wicked smile paints Nana's face as she admits to all three murders, saying that at least she lets the corpse be corpses. Yuka isn't really impressed with who she is unmasked. However, Nana comes up with a proposal that she will safeguard their actual talents. No one will know that Shinji is a corpse and will spare their lives. On top of this, she wants to be generous in sharing what Shinji is thinking about Yuka, but first she needs to get Shinji off Nana. Yuka's hopeless romantic self falls for the trick. As soon as Nana gets up, she dashes out of the room. The pair runs after her, which is exactly what Nana wants, to lure them away. She realizes that Yuka possesses Tsunakichi's necklace because she needs something from the corpse to control it, the same way Yuka has Shinji's ashes in the pendant around her neck. Nana tries to sneak up on her to snatch it away from her, but Shinji protects her. Nana runs away to take cover, but a corpse almost grabs her. More zombies appear. Yuka cunningly explains that the island has many deceased and one of them has the talent of night vision. Nana's mind starts to race. She questions if there was a civil war or if her predecessor is responsible for the deaths of these talents and teachers because the committee didn't mention any of this. She is reminded of all the random things she saw under Yuka's bed. They must belong to the dead. Nana keeps running till she reaches a shed. The door only locks from outside and has a hole. Nana has a theory that Yuka's attacks only work at night because Shinji's room was dark. She goes straight to fixing the hole. Yuka warns her that the shed is nothing compared to Shinji's super strength. Nana welcomes him inside, which Yuka understands is a trap. She already has zombies stationed under the bed, which Nana forgot to check. Just as they're about to attack her, the first ray of light appears, making them fall like puppets. Nana's theory was correct. Yuka informs her that she needs them out of sunlight to channel their senses. She locks Nana from outside, telling her that she will come after her at night. Nana attacks her with a box cutter but misses. For the first time, Nana has been left feeling helpless and seething. When Kiyoya asks Yuka about her, she only gives a vague statement about staying up late. At night, Yuka arrives with her zombie army. They search the shed up and down, but Nana is nowhere to be found. She wonders if Nana has some other talent besides mind reading, unaware that she's talentless. Just as she reaches the dormitory, Nana jumps her from behind, tackling her to the ground. She grabs a clear bag with Shinji's test score from inside Yuka's back pocket, explaining that when she tried to snatch her pendant, the girl protected her back pocket instead of the pendant. Nana confiscates it, telling her to follow her and bring Shinji along. She takes them to that cliff, holding the clear bag over the water below. Yuka asks if she holds any other talent for escaping from the cottage. Nana reveals that she had unhinged the latch from outside and then tapped it, pretending to hide inside, giving the impression that she had barricaded herself inside. Nana easily opened the door by pushing it from inside. She did all of this to test her theory, even though it meant putting herself in danger. Yuka gets scared from how fixated and determined Nana is, and hurriedly starts apologizing for trying to off her. She even offers help in whatever form is needed, that is if she returns Shinji's relic. Nana tells her to toss her needle case in return. Yuka does as told, but Nana's fingers are empty. With no relic in sight, the assassin then kills her with her poison needle, tossing away the relic. Shinji's body turns into an actual corpse. Nana looks at her phone. Yuka's death score is 500, 000 plus. She then throws her into the sea. Shinji's body is finally decomposing and smells horrible. Nana finds corpses littering the forest. She spots one of those bullies, Kirara Habu, trying to catch a snake. Apparently she needs to eat reptiles for her body to function. Nana inquires about her other friend Kaori who teleports, but, according to Kirara's texts, they had a fallout over contact lenses. Nana tricks her into thinking that Kaori has teleported to their location, then tells Kirara that the girl wants to be friends again. Nana uses her poison needle on her, tells the scared girl to give her the password to her phone if she wants the antidote. When she does comply, Nana opens her fist, revealing that there isn't any. Kirara loses her life within minutes. The assassin drags her next to another body and types a text to someone. She doesn't want Kyoya to suspect her and carefully considers carrying out her plan. She needs to correctly time the text in case Kyoya is keeping tabs on her. She goes to Kaori's room, returning her contacts. The wind blows into the room and she tries to close the window from blowing away the lens case, but it doesn't close the usual way. She doesn't think much of it and goes to school. Nana then bumps into Kyoya, who is ever suspicious of her, demanding the whereabouts of Yuka and Shinji. Nana puts on a show. She starts crying as she tells him that the girl is dead because of her. She wants to explain things and invites Michiru, Seiya and Moguo along, telling them that Yuka was the actual necromancer who took Shinji's life. Seiya and Moguo are freaked out, while Kyoya silently stares at her. She recalls how 2 days prior she had carelessly revealed to somebody about Yuka's necromancy. After that, the necromancer tried to get Shinji to kill her, but Nana got a hold of her and told her that Shinji loved Yuka, even in his death. Next thing she knew, the necromancer had jumped off the cliff, wanting to be with the boy in the afterlife. Nana starts crying and Michiru feels horrible for her. The assassin then turns to Moguo, requesting him to burn Shinji's corpse, claiming that he is in pain. She pretends to check in with Kyoya, asking if he approves of it. He sarcastically remarks that it's not like they have the choice to freeze him. Moguo gets down to burning the body. She makes him burn other zombie bodies as well, but they don't notice Kirara. Afterwards, when Seiya mentions telling the rest about Yuka, Nana immediately stops him, saying that in the forest she heard a type of the enemy of humanity which gets a hold of those with weak mental states like Yuka's. Kyoya is amused with the plot twist, but adds that there is a spy among them, then asks the rest to think about where Nana was every time someone died or disappeared. He isn't even done with his speech when they hear someone scream from inside the dorm. When they do arrive at the scene, Kaori is lying dead on the floor with one eye wide open. Kyoya checks on her, confirming that she has passed away, but notices that her body is not rigid yet, which means it hasn't been more than 2 hours of her passing. Michiru wants to revive her, but Kyoya stops her, saying that they don't know if it's safe to get close. He instructs them to get the medical kit and for Nana to stay right where he can see her. Once the kit arrives, he puts on gloves to examine her. Kyoya notices that her death seems carried out in a similar fashion as Tsunakichi, and it looks like she wanted to pull her eye out. Kyoya sees the contact case with drops in it. He takes a sip and instantly starts having a reaction. He tells them that there is poison in it and feels like his throat is burning. Nana quickly opens the faulty window with ease, which helps him a little. At least Nana now knows that poison doesn't kill him. He concludes that she died from a poisoned contact lens, which points to murder. He makes the supposition that Nana could have easily been the culprit. The assassin pretends to play it off as one of his cruel jokes. They leave to look for Kirara, but Nana reminds them of her poison talent. Kyoya tells them that then she could be responsible for it. Turns out the girl is missing from her room. Nana comes up with the excuse that an enemy of humanity has possessed her and supports her statement by telling them that she had heard its voice earlier in the forest when it took over Yuka's soul. Kyoya isn't having it. He tells her that she didn't mention hearing any voice for Kaori's murdered. Unlike that night when Michiru was in danger, Nana hesitantly agrees. He wants to go search Kaori's room, but Nana wants them to look for Kirara. However, Kyoya isn't interested. He argues that she might be dead by now. He casually stands by the window and asks if Nana and Kaori were friends, to which she denies but instantly regrets, feeling her heart drop. Realizing she just exposed herself because how else would she know how to open a faulty window unless she has been there? She tries to salvage her image by saying that she had visited Kaori before for counseling her on bullying others. Still, Kyoya accuses her of killing Kaori because he saw her open the window and tells her that she was definitely the one with her earlier when she died, because Nana knew she would want to use her contacts. Michiru cuts him off, showing him Kaori's phone with texts that confirm Kirara killed her instead. She tells them that the last message was sent at 3:04 p.m. when they were in the forest, but Kyoya insists that Nana indeed is the culprit. He explains the most likely scenario, that Nana first of all took Kirara's life and then placed the poisoned contacts back on Kaori's desk. Nana asks why he's jumping to the idea of Kirara already being dead. Kyoya states that she has probably made Mogwo burn her body, and the reason they weren't able to spot her was because she must have switched her uniform with a male student's. Nana is surprised he saw right through her. He continues to map it all out, saying that she used the corpses as a distraction to get rid of Kirara's phone, and that she was the one who sent the text. Nana knew that if Kaori hadn't already used her lens, an apology from Kirara would not make her weary of any poison from her. Nana is left astonished at his accuracy. Kyoya even has the answer for her knowing the phone code. If it wasn't through her mind reading then, it's either Nana chopped her finger off for scanning, or forced the girl to reveal it, and that she still has Kirara's phone on her. He suggests that she pre-typed the apology message and then sent it from her pocket once it struck 3:04. The guy then starts searching her pockets for it. He does a full body search, but is unable to find Kirara's phone. Nana thinks back to when she decided on placing it near the corpse, and prayed for the message to be sent, as the sun rays fell on the dead body's finger secured with a rubber band, melting it on the screen. Once the fire was set to the bodies, the evidence burnt with it. Michiru pushes him to apologize to Nana, and the assassin innocently tells them that she feels sorry for another soul dying on her watch. She continues to fool them by stating that Kaori was murdered by Kirara, possessed by an enemy of humanity. At night, Nana sits in front of the dorm with the poison bottle in hand, planning to get rid of it before Kyoya finds it. Michiru comes outside. Nana pretends to guard them. Michiru seems to feel pity for her and tells her to rest while she covers for her. Nana agrees, instantly falling asleep. When she does come to her senses, Michiru is holding a box cutter to her throat, questioning if she can really read minds. There's a drastic change in her high-pitched voice as she interrogates Nana on her real talent. Nana pretends to hear her inner voice being scared of finding out that her actual talent is poisonous bodily fluids. But this time, Michiru doesn't fall for it. However, it gives Nana enough time to disarm her. Michiru isn't backing down. She points out that it's obvious Nana has combat skills. The latter threatens to scream, but Michiru reminds her that no one will believe that the innocent Michiru would harm her. They get interrupted by two students. Michiru quickly switches back to her cute self. At school, she decides to pester Nana some more with a gift box, and wants her to guess the item inside of it. Her goal is to expose Nana's true talent in front of the whole class. But Nana tells her that she is too tired to read minds at the moment. As she walks away, Nana decides to do something about it, as she takes out a tape and writes a note. Later, Mr. Kyushi and Kyoya reach the classroom and witness Michiru forcing Nana to guess the items. The latter tells her that she can't concentrate when so many of them are present. Michiru questions that maybe she can't read her mind. Nana guesses a greeting card, but it turns out to be a bath set. Nana insists that she can still hear the voice, and it says that Michiru loves her. Kyoya asks about a note on the girl's back. Apparently, what Nana just heard was the note that the rest of them had read. The students immediately believe that she heard their thoughts instead of Michiru's, meaning her telepathy works just fine. Nana's trick works because none of them suspect that she was responsible for the note. In the evening, Nana brings Michiru to the cliff and asks her where the real Michiru is, because she would have healed her hand instead of applying Band-Aid. Nana confronts the imposter, stating that they must have transformation as a talent, and cleverly chose to transform into the weakest one of them. The intruder is impressed, saying that she must care about the girl even though she's a serial killer. This takes Nana by surprise. The student transforms into his actual self, introducing himself as Jin Tachibana, a senior whose name no longer exists on the class roster. He wants to make a deal with Nana and confesses that he has only knocked out Michiru with a strong sedative in her drink. Jin takes her to a cave near the beach and offers her coffee. He already knows that Kyoya suspects her of the murders and knows that she had the poison needle kit with her. He tells her these things to let her know that she can meet her demise in several ways. Jin shares that he hasn't found a good dealer yet, but wonders if it would benefit him. Nana assures him that if he tells her about the happenings of the past 5 years on the island, she is willing to help him out. He reveals that the zombies were his classmates. He unabashedly tells her that he has been spying on her mainly because his interest peaked when she had saved him. He had transformed into the cat that Kyoya was feeding. He then shares his experience. Students were sent to the island, and one day they started killing each other. Soon they split into groups, claiming that the other group was possessed by enemies of humanity. Back then, the bases were the cave and the cottage where she hid from Yuka. Once the faculty had left, there was not a single talented person to keep the balance amongst them. When all hell broke loose, Jin disguised himself to go unnoticed. Afterwards, he transformed into a bird to meet his grandmother. but he learned that a certain group of people didn't want him breathing, so he flew back to the island. Soon, more talented people were dropped off. He is certain that the government had some sort of role in the war, and he wants to know about it, which is why he chose to return. He has also noticed that Nana has been thrown in the middle of all these talents, which is different from the last time. He would like to prosecute her for the murders, but Nana reminds Jin that he will have to reveal himself, which will probably start another war. He tells her that he would like her to continue her thing for a while, warning her to cooperate. Suddenly he falls to the ground after sipping his coffee. She mischievously reveals that she had poisoned his coffee. Jin tells her that she is probably sent by the same organization that wants him dead, that he is the sole survivor of the previous war and falls flat on the ground. He has got a point which makes her almost contact the committee, but someone snatches her phone. It's Kyoya, but then he transforms into Michiru, telling her that she applied the bandage and called her Nana-san instead of Nana-shan. Then she changes into Seiya, freezing her foot, stating that the imbalance of power during the war had an exception, which was Jin himself. Because how else did she think he survived it all? He can not only transform into people, but also use their talents. Nana is struck by the thought of him truly being a monster, an enemy of humanity. Nana is actually freaking out. She tries to calm herself as he goes through her phone and dials the committee's number, but the call cuts off. Nana tells him if he's trying to seek out her talent, then he should transform into her. Jin goes through the kill count messages and Nana books it. She breaks through the icy grip and runs, leaving the phone with him. She isn't fast enough because the next thing Nana sees is Jin turning into Mogwo, throwing a fireball at her. Nana's back takes the hit. She sits helplessly on the beach. Jin tells her that there was someone in their class as well who would flaunt the kill count in their faces. But someone must have given her this device. She should ring them up for help. Nana almost gives up, but then puts up a courageous front, telling him to go ahead and transform into Yuka and turn her into a corpse to seek out the information he needs. Jin isn't falling for it. He knows that she is trying to sniff out any weakness of his. Jin then proceeds to ask about her family. In his opinion, they should build up some trust, as it's obvious torturing her won't get her to talk, and he's willing to spare her for the night. Nana informs him that she had an older brother who she doesn't remember. Her father worked at a talented department in the Ministry of General Affairs, and her mother was a teacher. The parents were murdered by an enemy of humanity. Jin gets the feeling that she's referring to the talented. Nana is about to pass out, but before she blacks out, he picks her up, advising her to watch out for the actual psychopaths coming out of the woods once the bodies start piling up, because she might not be the only exterminator around. Nana wakes in Michiru's room. The healer explains that the previous night she heard a thump, and when she looked outside, Nana had passed out next to her door. She assumes that the reason was an enemy of humanity. Nana goes with that storyline, confirming that she had found one that had impersonated Michiru and almost got unalived. Upon the girl's curiosity of her not being frightened of the enemy, Nana decides to share with Michiru about her parents and adds that even though she is scared, she is still determined to take the enemy down. Upon Michiru's request, she further adds that one fateful night, an enemy of humanity broke into their house disguised as a burglar and took her parents' lives. But then she blames herself for their deaths. Michiru's 150,000 plus kill count flashes in front of her eyes, and she wonders what dark secret the innocent girl holds. Later, a funeral is held for the 3 students. Kyoya makes it clear to Mr. Kyushi that he better bring him along the next time he speaks to the higher-ups, because Kaori's death is a murder. After the funeral, Jin invites himself into Nana's room, telling her that he didn't want to lick her all over to heal her the previous night, because that would mean shortened life. She wants her phone back, but he wants to hear more about her first. They get interrupted by Michiru wanting to sit in her room. Jin disguises himself as a cat. Nana is suspicious of Michiru suddenly taking interest in her, which is obvious from the way she is scanning her tidy room. The girl shares that she wants to know what Nana meant. She said that the parents' death was her fault. Jin is more than happy to hear. Nana shares that she was a normal little girl who liked playing board games like chess and shogi. Her room used to be disorganized and messy. Besides board games, she loved reading manga. So on that fateful night, like any other night, she snuck out of her room's window to grab a manga from the store. She came back, read it, and fell asleep. Nana had overheard the police that the burglar had broken in through her window. When Nana went to the living room, she was hit with the smell of blood rather than breakfast and the horrible sight of her father's severed head. She blames herself because she had left the window open. Michiru places her hands on top of hers, comforting her. Before Nana realizes it, she is knocked out and wakes up the next morning to Michiru still in her room. Just then, Kyoya barges in, looking exceptionally serious. He takes them to the boys' dorm. One of the rooms is a mess, and a student is murdered in his bed with his head on the windowsill. Nana is shocked to see the body. This could only mean that there's someone else besides her, because this death certainly isn't her doing. Kyoya tells them that he has already examined Ryuji Ishii's body. The throat was slashed open and had suffered a stab wound to the back. Kyoya inquires Moguo's whereabouts the previous night because his room is next to the victim's. He tells Kyoya that he was giving an inspirational speech to the other 3 boys in his room, which lasted for 5 hours. He didn't hear anything. Kyoya makes the assumption that the murder had taken place afterwards. He asks the other 3 about their talents. Sota Saito can mimic voices. Rentaru Tsurumigawa can astral travel. His consciousness goes to flush the toilet, but he doesn't psychically use it because his actual body is still in the room. Shoichi Kosakai has magnetism. The only other person that remains is Ryuji's girlfriend, Fuko Sorano, who had discovered his body in the morning. When asked about her talent, she seems hesitant, but then tells them that they should go outside for that, worried she might harm them. Once out in the clear, she explains that her talent allows her to take advantage of the atmosphere and transform its energy into an attack. Kyoya volunteers to be hit by her attack, assuring her that he can't die even if he is shredded. Fuko channels the energy with calculated movements. Wind picks up, and she launches the attack, hitting him with accuracy. The sheer force of it throws Kyoya further away, and a large slash appears on his body, splattering blood. His body starts to heal. The girl claims that she can't use her talent in a tight space. She requires ventilation. The open window pops into both Nana and Kyoya's mind, but they get interrupted by their teacher, informing Kyoya that the higher-ups are on the line. Later, inside the cafeteria, she asks about Nana's future plans, sharing that she herself wants to be a doctor, and adds that Nana could move to her town, into her parents' place to attend college, which would make her feel safe to have her around. Nana has had enough. She slams the bowl of food on the table, reminding her that it was only yesterday she opened up about the loss of her parents. In her room, Nana regrets letting her emotions take over. But one thing is clear, that Michiru is acting off. Her thoughts are interrupted when Mr. Kyoshi delivers her uniform upon Michiru's request. As soon as she holds it, she is reminded that the poison bottle, which had previously been placed inside this very uniform, is now missing. Michiru had found her and took it off to heal her. This means Michiru knows about it and has probably told Kyoya by now. Speaking of the devil, he walks up to her demanding if she and Michiru had a fight, because the latter came to tell him something that had to do with Nana, but then decided not to. The teacher informs him that whatever he had told the HQ, it had worked because they were sending someone over. Kyoya thanks him and takes Nana along to see Fuko. He starts off by asking her whereabouts after the funeral. She tells him that she was reading, and then late at night a friend came over who stayed till morning. In the hallway, Kyoya asks about Nana's theory on the murder. She tells him that Fuko might not have done it because the funeral concluded at 7 p.m, and Moguo's speech followed right after, which lasted 5 hours up till 12 a.m, and it can be assumed that the murder took place afterwards. They know that Fuko had a friend over till dawn, so it couldn't have been her. However, Kyoya thinks otherwise. He is of the opinion that Ryuji's life was taken during Moguo's recital. The reason being that he had noticed a few insects under the bed, which means the window was opened at night with the light turned on, which drew the insects inside the room. He also knows that Ryuji wasn't a fan of bugs, and most people sleep with the light off and the window closed at night. This means he was murdered before he fell asleep, and the window could have been opened by the murderer, but Nana asks why not midnight. Kyoya points to the open light, but Nana tells him that maybe Ryuji had opened it to fight, and then tried to escape from the window. Kyoya has the answer to that as well. Ryuji had a shrinking talent. This entails that he could have shrunk to the size of a hair strand and didn't need to escape through the window. That person, for instance Fuko, could have snuck up on him. They have seen her talent, hence the room being a mess. On top of this, his throat was slit first, which means the killer was aware to not make any noise. After their conversation, Nana decides to sort things out with Michiru. She enters her room, but the girl is in the shower. Nana starts looking for the poison bottle, but can't find it. Jin invites himself into the room, surprisingly returning her phone along with that poison bottle. He had them all this time. Nana asks what he is up to. He states that he would like to meet the mastermind responsible for her killer identity. Before he leaves, he reminds her of Michiru being in the shower for far too long. Nana dashes to the bathroom. She's met with the horrifying sight of the healer's body hanging over the tub, overflowing with water. Upon checking, it's confirmed that Michiru is still breathing. She decides on taking her out because her death would affect Nana's mission. Michiru's running a high fever and looks dehydrated. Nana has a feeling the healer's in critical condition and needs to get treated immediately. The assassin then goes to Mr. Kyushi for help regarding the doctor. but unfortunately, he has already flown back to the HQ. He tells her to take Kyoya's help. When she goes to see him, he is in a mask and apron, in the middle of performing an autopsy on Ryuji's body. Nana asks for meds, especially one with the acetaminophen drug. Kyoya doesn't let it slide that she knows her drugs. Once Nana secures them, she breaks into the cafeteria to grab some food for Michiru. It's the next day and the perfect opportunity to strike while Kyoya is busy with the murder mystery. Time is slipping out of Nana's hands the longer that Michiru remains unresponsive. Nana has managed to get the fever under control. Fuko walks into the room, asking about any progress in the case. Nana tells her that Kyoya is dealing with it. The girl then asks about Michiru's wound. Nana coldly asks why she would assume there was a wound. Fuko hurriedly states that she thought it was connected to Ryuji's death. She offers to watch over Michiru for Nana to take some rest, but the latter refuses. After a long while, Michiru finally opens her eyes. She remembers helping an injured cat upon another cat's insistent meows. Nana's mind goes straight to Jin. She had then gone for a shower but felt cold and blacked out. It most likely happened from using her talent. Michiru also clarifies that she has been feeling under the weather the past day and went to Kyoya for some meds. Nana is disappointed to learn about such an anticlimactic reason for her visit. Meanwhile, Jin thinks back to finding nothing useful on Nana's phone and the fact that the number on the kill counts don't really make any sense, which has him wondering if Nana has been tricked into assassinating people. In the meantime, the council is impressed with Nana's killing spree. One of them, Tatsumi Tsuruoka, is leaving for the island, claiming that he has to go because Nana is like his family. Michiru is feeling a bit better as she eats the soup that Nana has prepared for her. Once she is done, the assassin gets up to go after Fuko, assuming she would be an easy target and would make it look like a suicide, but Michiru has other plans. She wants Nana to play shogi with her. The assassin reluctantly agrees. She goes to take a shower first and tries to tell herself to not think about Michiru because if Tatsumi could see her right now, she would be in big trouble. Afterwards, Nana is sitting in her dorm room. Michiru enters the room, meekly stating that she wants to ask about something and adds that her thoughts are frazzled and need sorting, though she didn't tell Kyoya anything. Michiru also wants her to think about the morning she found her deceased parents. If she remembers the soles of her feet hurting that morning when she walked inside her room towards the living room. Nana denies. Michiru jumps, enthusiastically saying that this means her parents had quietly cleaned her room littered with board games and closed her window, and firmly states that she was only a kid and is not responsible for their deaths. Michiru then hugs Nana. The latter can't believe that the innocent girl had been worried for her this whole time. Nana doesn't understand if someone like her should even deserve Michiru's friendship. The next day, Jin breaks into Nana's room at night. He informs her that he saw Michiru going somewhere and disguised himself as Moguro to ask her about it, but all she said was that she was going to meet someone to talk to in secret. She was headed towards the deserted cottage by the sea. Nana quickly runs outside for her aid and settles on letting Kyoya know about it. Michiru is in the forest when a voice is heard, and a cut appears on her cheek. The mystery man tells her that he had seen the slit throat of a cat healed, and realized that she was the reason for it. The creep talks about feeling special for getting his hands on someone so pure. She shakingly falls to the ground. Nana is running towards her when she gets a call from Mr. Tsuruoka. He asks about the progress in her mission. She confirms that she is currently on the way to fight the enemy of humanity. He orders her to complete her mission so that she can be rewarded for it. Moreover, the wages made thus far have already been transferred. This reminds Nana of her actual mission and how she was only daydreaming about her friendship with Michiru. On the other hand, Michiru is running for her life. She falls next to the cottage and in a scared voice tells him that Nana will save her. The creep informs her that Nana isn't who she thinks she is because she has a dark soul and lies all the time. Michiru gets upset and yells at him to stop with the insults. As soon as his knife launches towards her, Nana appears out of thin air, taking the hit. Nana apologizes to Michiru, then tells her that she had hoped for the murderer to be Fuko. However, the culprit was in plain sight, pretending to listen to Moguo's speech that night. She blames herself for not noticing that he had slipped out of his body to commit the murder. He flushed the toilet, which clearly meant that he could travel through walls and touch objects. He had opened Ryuji's window to hear Moguo's speech. Michiru is in utter shock. Rentaru's astral body finally shows up. Michiru wants to heal her, but then Nana feels another stab. While Rentaru tells her to get out of the way, the latter signals Michiru to run when she distracts him. As soon as he strikes again, Nana twists and grabs the knife, giving Michiru the time to escape. Nana tells her that she has already set up a trap for Rentaru. When she doesn't budge, Nana resolves to demeaning language, calling her a stupid dog that can easily be manipulated, and how she hates weaklings like her. This gets Michiru to run away as tears pour down her face. Nana is relieved to see the girl is safe. Rentaru demands for her to tell him about the trap. She reveals that she had tricked him and that there is none. Just when he angrily strikes again, a hand gets wrapped around his throat. Nana instantly realizes that Kyoya has found his body. Earlier, Nana had asked for Kyoya's help. He wanted to go after the astral body, but Nana volunteered to do that because they didn't know how far the body could travel and when found, if he would attack upon returning to the original body. In the end, Nana had gone after Mikuru while Kyoya searched for the actual body. At present, Nana lies on the ground wounded. She calls it karma for her previous murders. Just as she thinks of Michiru, the girl appears kneeling next to her. Nana is unable to move or speak, but keeps yelling in her head for her to stop because she had gained consciousness not long ago. However, Michiru wants to save her and gives it her all. Her sheer will harnesses her power to heal Nana's fatal wound. When Nana is healed, she checks up on the girl, but Mikuru isn't breathing. The assassin feels awful, getting flashbacks of their time together. She cries over her body, hugging the innocent girl. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.